so excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? It is Two Guys and a Goalie, Nielson, Cass, and Gage with you. And we have hit noon on the day of Game 5. Dun, 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 dun. The Edmonton Oilers look to stay alive again. Two Guys and a Goalie is brought to you by GS Construction, setting the industry standard for 50 years with quality, efficiency, and safety driving their success. GS Construction has a foundation built on teamwork, and now they want you to become a part of the team. Visit www.gsconstruction.ca and click Ready to Work, or just visit their page over at Indeed.ca. With the Next Step Person program at GS Construction, it's not just a job, it is a career. Happy game day, boys. How we doing today?
I'm good. I'm just excited about the morning dumps.
Man. That was the worst. I mean, that was the second worst name I heard for a shot this morning. I think Hole Out is probably still the worst one. But I thought one of the good names was, I like the early bird shot. Right, you're dropping a birdie booze into a 6 o'clocker lager, the early bird. I think that works, man, and it's delicious. I've already had one. We didn't know what the call was yet, but it was pretty damn good. So yes, I like it. I think that's a good one. No, Cass, I do appreciate the input though. I thought that was real nice. Thanks, man.
I just wanted to give you guys something that was horrible, that wasn't going to work, that I knew wasn't going to work, but I'm like, I wanted to read this on air, so.
Well, it worked. Mission accomplished. Gager, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had an idea for it, but I've lost it now. I should have wrote it down. It was.
Was it a good one?
I don't know if it was good or not. It made sense, but obviously not that good if I forgot it already. But let me think about it. It'll come back to me. I think it'll come back.
Norman at Combine is asking over in the Nasty Chat. And hey, if you're watching on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ooh, we are now less than 40 subs away from 9,000. So if you're watching right now and you haven't subbed to the channel yet, give us a sub. That would be great. You can turn notifications on if you want, but you don't have to. Cass, people are wondering, do you have a new studio? Is that a new mic you got set up there, Cass? You sound great today.
Same mic.
Oh,
same mic.
You sound great.
I had tinkered with some of the mic settings, like, because we were having some issues a little while ago with some of the audio picking up. So I tinkered with the settings, and I think we got it to a place where it's good now. So no, this is not a new studio. However, in a period of time, I will actually have a new studio at the office standpoint. That's a dedicated podcast studio, which will be a nice little setup. So
well, tell me about this. Like, you guys are setting one up at the office for people, or what?
Well, they're doing a bunch of renovations in our building.
Okay.
So it's not actually my office, but it's just the building as a whole, improving amenities, making the building nicer for everyone, the tenants that are here and all that. And so part of it is, I think they're making 2 podcast studios inside of there. So it'll be nice. I won't have to be turning away from the windows that in the winter in particular, just get the sun beaming right through, right at the time we're trying to do this. So it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to that. But that's
2024, hey?
Hopefully ready.
2024.
Ready, yeah, for this.
Buildings, putting in podcast studios. Yeah. Amazing. It's amazing. That's great. And Gager, is your mic turned on? I see some people being like, Gager, turn yourself up a bit.
This is as loud as I go. You don't need me louder than this, do you?
No, you're all right, buddy.
You are a little quiet, I will say.
Yeah. Is he a little quiet either, Cass? Well, we'll see what we can do.
Quiet, yeah.
We'll see what we can do there. I love Gager still using that snowball mic I dropped off early in the pandemic. Gager, we gotta get you a amp. You know what? I got a couple of Yetis. You do like that thing, don't you? You do love that snowball.
I like this thing. Yeah.
That sounds a little bit better, I think.
Is that better?
I mean,
Maybe
I don't
just hold it
want
like
you
a
to have to
microphone.
hold it like that the whole time.
But it's more F1. I gotta hold it like this, like right up against the nose there.
Oh,
This will be perfect.
that sounds really nice actually now.
Does
wow.
it? Okay.
Gage,
Well,
you're
maybe
too
I'll just
loud.
go like this.
You're too loud, Gage.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. No. All right. Let's look. We got lots to get to. We will get into the bigger and hotter headlines. We got some GM and some coaching news. We'll get to the bigger and hotter headlines for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. We'll get to hire it or fire it. Some takes there for our presenting sponsors over at GS Construction as well. But man, let's just come out. I haven't chatted with both of you guys since the Oilers stayed alive coming out of the last game. And Cass, is there a different, not from a losing perspective, but from a winning perspective, is there a difference in winning that game 4-2 and 8-1 moving forward in a series where so many people go, there's no momentum at all. There's nothing that carries over. But
yeah,
where do you come out on that?
I think the big thing in winning as big as they did isn't the momentum necessarily like against Florida or on Florida's end, but it's the we can score goals against this team mindset where it's like you get 4, you don't chase Bobrovsky, but you win the game. You're still kind of in that, well, we scored 4 goals once. Like, yeah, we kind of got through, but you put up 8, you're like, yeah, we really can score goals against this, guys. And from a confidence standpoint, I think it just benefits you more. I don't think momentum-wise it will carry over in that game-to-game. Like, I think today is going to be by far and away the toughest and the best we will see from the Florida Panthers will be tonight. But I think for Edmonton, the big guns in particular, it just kind of helps create that confidence-building situation where it's like, yeah, at least we can score. We know we can score if we get opportunities where there is maybe a little bit of, no matter what we do, we can't beat Bobrovsky mindset heading into that game.
What about on the other side of it, Gager? What do you think?
Well, it's just the magnitude of the situation that I look at, and everyone, all the Panthers family came into Edmonton for that game. They had that pressure. Now they're all the way back down to Florida. Are they going to do it tonight? I think you're still going to see Florida's best game tonight. Like they're going to come out with their best effort of the series so far. But I just think, like you said, if it was a 3-2 game, I think the 8-1, it doesn't deter them a ton, but there's that little splinter in the back of their mind going, geez, these guys will blow the doors off us if we don't play well, or that's a possibility now. Our goalie can't just bail us out. We have to have a really good game. So again, and I think you mentioned it, the first goal tonight is huge, is massive.
Yeah.
You want to be at the front of the bus tonight, driving that bus down the freeway. You don't want to be playing from behind and allow the other team especially a team like Florida that I find is a really good counter-punching team, looking for those subtle little mistakes, little giveaways where they can turn and burn and score goals. So, I'm looking for the first 10 minutes, Oilers to come out and get that first one if they want to win this thing.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Cass, what if that first goal doesn't come till midway through the second? How much, compared to early in a hockey game,
Has Florida scored already at this point? Are we talking?
No, it's still 0-0. Still 0-0.
Yeah. I think you're fine. I think now from a momentum standpoint, and we just said momentum, doesn't carry over game to game. I think, from a getting to Bobrovsky standpoint, if you can score one early, some of that momentum may carry. Like if you get one early in the hockey game, maybe it's not a great goal, maybe it's whatever, a bad bounce, doesn't matter. If you get that first goal and it happens really early, I think it does benefit you more because it creates a little bit of doubt. And the Edmonton Oilers need to find ways to create doubt in the surety of the Florida Panthers right now. Because, for Florida heading back, there's no doubt in their mind. They're like, yeah, well, we lost the game. Yeah, we got blown out. Yeah, we're going to go win this thing at home. We got a whole bunch of cracks at this. We're gonna do it. But if you can create the little seeds of doubt, you create some opportunity for yourself. I don't think for Edmonton, though, from an overall winning standpoint, I don't think you care whether it's in the first period, second period, or third period. I think you just care that you score first.
You take that first goal, yeah.
You take that first goal. If you ask me sitting in a dressing room is hey, do you need to score in the first 5 minutes, or if the first goal in the hockey game is in the third period with 5 minutes left, like, are you okay with that? I'm like, I don't care. Like, give me that first goal, and whenever it is in the game, if it's the first goal in the game, I'm the team that wants that. I want that first one. So yeah, I mean, maybe a little more beneficial if you get it really early. But you're taking it whatever, dude. Whenever.
I think the longer it goes 0-0 benefits the Oilers more than the Panthers. I mean, these guys can taste it, right? They're so close. They're 60-minute effort away from winning the Stanley Cup. And the closer the game is for the longer period of time, the Oilers I think are more comfortable in that situation. I mean, it'd be so hard. You're trying to stay in the moment, but the cup's in the building. You have a chance to win this thing. Like, I think you might see the sticks being gripped a little bit tighter by the Florida Panthers, knowing that they could win it, rather than the Oilers are just have that mentality of winning one game, right?
Gager, did you see anything that the Oilers did differently to get to Bobrovsky in Game 4, or did they do all the things they're doing in the first 3 games, but he wasn't stoning them, or they weren't shooting it in places where it was easy for him to stop? Like, what was the difference in your opinion?
I liked the shot selection and just getting it off quick. There was no real dusting off and having look, I got to put it in a perfect spot. Like, guys were just shooting to shoot, like Cass, and you come around the circles. I mean, you could have your head down. You kind of have an idea where to shoot, how hard to shoot it, to put it in a certain place, right? They seem like they were able to make those decisions a lot quicker when they got into good shooting areas. And again, not looking for that perfect play. If the chance comes, you got to take it. Don't look for the simple backdoor kind of stuff. Get it on net, and maybe just by putting up an 8 spot, they'll have a little bit more confidence when they do get a chance to shoot it, because who knows, might go in.
Get to a couple of comments here that kind of tie in. Zulu over in the nasty chat says, we need a monster start from 74 tonight. Of course, 74 being Skinner. This text comes to the inbox at 780-218-9999 and says, Florida is going to throw the kitchen sink at the Oilers tonight. Skinner is going to be the key, and then you chip away and create/execute on opportunities. You can't be hitting 4 posts tonight. 3-2 win for the Oilers. Cass, at this stage, I mean, I think you have to have a pretty decent level of confidence in Skinner to kind of hold down the fort if things get turned against the Oilers early, or where. I mean, I know you do, because you've been very much pro Skinner the entire playoffs, but where do you think the fan base is at from that perspective?
Well, it's a mix. Anytime I say anything about Skinner, particularly in the pregame show and the postgame show, it's like 50-50. Where there's like a group of people that are like, they're like, I mean, the team's in the Stanley Cup Final, and they're still just like, yeah, I can't trust Skinner at all to win a hockey game. And you're like, dude, so you're in the Stanley Cup Final. He's done okay. They continually, like, every time the Oilers lose, like Game 1, for example, they like blame Skinner for Game 1.
Yeah.
And you're like, guy let in 2 goals, Edmonton couldn't score, got 0 goals, like, and you're blaming Stuart Skinner. And then, they love jumping on, he did have the turnover in Game 3 that was a mistake, that was his issue. And they're like, see, I told you you can't trust. It's like they're always looking for that one play. And even when you go to like Game 2, like Bobrovsky let in the worst goal in Game 2 in that game, but Edmonton didn't score enough. So it's like, now Stuart Skinner, I have seen enough, and you just need to look at that last game on a couple of saves on Matthew Tkachuk pushing across the net, huge saves moving laterally, where it's like, yeah, he made saves that saved that game. And I know they got the post, and that's to their benefit and to his benefit. But yeah, I trust him to give you a good game. Absolutely, I do. I know, again, there's like 50% of the people that are like, how dare you play Pickard?
I was
like, we had people saying that, like, you better play Pickard for Game 4. I'm like, what?
I was in the middle of going out with someone about Skinner when he let that puck go behind the net and didn't play it properly, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to take the L on this conversation just for now. Gager, what are you seeing in Skinner's game that would have you confident in him if the Panthers come out and outshoot the Oilers? And I could very much see the Panthers outshooting the Oilers 15-4 in the first period tonight. I mean, you can really kind of make a case for anything in this game, but with the Oilers, somebody said, man, I hope the Oilers aren't fat and happy after finally being like, we got them, we got 8. Like, I don't think they'll be that way because they're facing elimination. So let's just go there. But Gager, where are you at on the play of Skinner so far in this series?
It's been good. He's been outdueled in a few games so far, but if you look at the first 10 minutes of game 4, he made the saves that were necessary, and Bobrovsky didn't. He that's another thing that builds the confidence, right? I talked about the goalies that Bobrovsky's gone through to get to this point. And now Skinner, knowing what he's accomplished, now he's going up against one of the best that's in the game right now. I like it. And the fact, like we mentioned, those first few saves. And I said this morning on your show, Dusty, how I already knew the outcome of the game, right? So watching it on replay, you have a different kind of view because you know what's going to happen. And I felt that the Panthers had a really, really good start with some good opportunities, and Stuart Skinner made some really, really good hard saves. So yeah, I'm full confident he can do that. If he can do that again and allow the Oilers to get into this game and possibly get that first one, he can't just have an okay game. It's got to be. Yeah. He has to be considered one of the 3 stars tonight.
Yeah, he's got to be really good. But I think that's because you're going to get a huge push too.
Yeah,
like Florida is going to push. Everything's going to be at the net. Bodies are going to be at the net. Like they're going to be try to get at Stuart Skinner. So he's going to probably face more looks than he's had to so far. Now maybe Edmonton does a great job defending and keeping to the outside and letting him see everything. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's going to have to be better than good because Florida's a really good team. So you're going to have to be.
I get to this text here, 780-218-9999. Guys, I'm nervous that Skinner hasn't had that one bad game he seems to have every series. Maybe he's matured past that point here. And go ahead, Cass.
Can I throw a Tommy Gazzola stat at you? And I don't know who had sent this to him.
Tommy the Wrench.
I can't recall. But and Gage, I'd love your feedback on this too. Both you guys, I want your feedback on this. In the playoffs, Stuart Skinner is undefeated in games 5, 6, and 7.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Now that would have been one
games 5, 6, and 7.
6-0.
7-0, I think.
I think
it's 6-0 or 7-0.
It's 6-0. They played 5.
Okay.
And then they played 5, 6, 7, and then they played 5, 6. So he's 6-0.
6-0.
Gage, you're the goalie. What do you make of that?
Jeez, that's quite an accomplishment. I'd almost wouldn't want to know that stat if I was a goalie. Oh gosh, that's too much pressure on me. But look, he's done it. This is again, Cass, why people talk about Stuart Skinner, that he can't win a championship with him. He keeps proving everyone wrong every step of the way. Like, he is going to be considered at this rate, he will be in the conversation for Vezina trophies moving forward with his progression of what we've seen.
He is just a second-year guy, like he's a second-year goalie. Like,
we're treating him like he's been in the league, but it does seem like he's been in the league a lot longer. Maybe it was that COVID year. He did play a couple games, whatever. But no, man, this guy, he's a stud. Like, listen to how he talks. Like, he seems unflappable, and the maturity level of such a young goaltender is it's very impressive to me, because I definitely was not like that at 24, 25 years old.
Let's get to some of the comments over in the Nasty Chat. If you're watching on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up and give us a sub as well. Almost halfway to 100 likes here, so we hit that today on Two Guys and a Goalie. So hammer that thumbs up for us and sub to the channel if you haven't already. A few comments that I wanted to get to. If you have any thoughts on tonight's game, we will get into our bigger, hotter headlines. We're going to get another qualifier for the $100,000 hole-in-one as well. I just like this one. Jeffrey says, guys, I loved it. For game 4, my friend of 55 plus years and I were watching the game via chatting. He was camping in New Brunswick, and I from Inglewood, California, having grown up together in Cold Lake, Alberta. So how about that? They grow up together in Cold Lake. They've been buddies forever. And with 2024 technology, mind you, they could have done this in like 2012, but they watched the game, chatting together, watching the game together from two different sides of the continent, which is good. B Mother Review says, guys, is the best case scenario that the Oilers win a game they have no business winning. Then Florida says we played awesome and lost. Now we have to go back to Edmonton. Could be a huge letdown for them coming off of that one. And Derek from the Hat says, everyone seems to be talking about how the offense broke out. But as good as that is, I liked what I saw from a lot of what the D did, as well as Skinner. Big and timely saves should help his mindset for the series. Yeah, and I would say, like, their one goal against, to me, was more on Skinner than the defensive play in front of him. Florida had some looks. Did they not, Cass?
Yeah, I'd have to pull it up again. I'd have to pull that one up again. So let me pull
Yeah, but
it
it's
up.
not like they limited Florida to like 3 grade A's. Like,
Yeah.
Florida had some chances
they had
in that
more.
hockey game, right? Like,
Yeah.
there were some mistakes made by the Oilers' blue line.
Oh yeah, there were, especially early on. Tommy and I talked about that too. Like, they were scrambly early. There was a lot of pucks thrown away, like just kind of thrown up the wall, hoping it happens. Like, they weren't clean. Their zone exits were not clean. The first quick ups were not clean early in that hockey game. Like, they had a whole bunch of turnovers in their own zone and around the blue line. So it was like early on, it was a little shaky, and that's when Stuart Skinner had to be at his best. They got cleaned up as the game went on, and it happened less and less as Edmonton took over the game. But yeah, early on, there were some definite mistakes that led to grade A chances against.
All right, 780-218-9999. Trent H says, guys, he didn't play in Game 5 versus Vancouver. And Matthew says, you can't lose if you didn't play, Trent. So he's still 6-0 would be the 6-0 would be the number there. All right, let's get into your bigger and hotter headlines for Big Mamas and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience that you've been waiting for. Visit them at 12848 97th Street, or of course you can order right now today, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550. We had that one guy today that says he ordered the 36-incher for him and his buddies on Saturday night, and they won. So he's like, I think I have to order the 36-incher again tonight, but I'm not sure if my body can handle it. 60 more pieces coming in hot. But, I mean, do you want your team to win or not? That's what I ask of you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going around the city tonight looking for dance competitions to go watch during the game.
Because they won. That's true.
Do what you need to do, people.
Yeah, that's and I'm going to go to find a 50 Cent concert somewhere. And hopefully they can win there too. You got to do what you did on Saturday night, I guess. All right, let's get into it. We'll get to hire and fire in a second. These are the bigger, hotter headlines. Eric Tulsky, the general manager officially here of the Carolina Hurricanes. And boy, I have to let me see. I think I tweeted it out. You see this guy's background? You see everything this guy has accomplished? This is now he's been around for like 10 years, and he's been an analytical candidate that like the analytical community has wanted to hire for a long time as a general manager somewhere. But listen to this, like outside of other hockey related matters, this is Eric Tulsky. The Philadelphia native holds a BA in chemistry and physics from Harvard, a PhD in chemistry from the University of California, Cal Berkeley. He also conducted a 2-year postdoctoral study at the Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. Tulsky previously worked in the high-tech industry for 12 years, managing teams of researchers focused on using nanotechnology to solve problems in DNA sequencing, solar energy, displays, and energy storage, and he currently holds 27 U.S. patents. This is the current general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, and the guy who probably has had a lot to say in the decisions they've made, and they still roll into the playoffs with Freddie Anderson every bloody year. Like, I don't know how a rocket scientist like this guy can look at it and go, you know how we're going to win the cup? Freddie Anderson again. But this is wild. Like, this guy's a certified genius, and he's now the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know if it transitions, but they obviously love him in Carolina.
All I know is there better be some sort of doping and drug testing down in Carolina. I don't know if there's going to be nanobots in their bodies.
You're not going to catch that doping. Like, you better do like body scans, like for nanobots, making decisions.
All this chemistry and stuff. The dressing room, the equipment room is going to look like a laboratory, it sounds like. And all these guys are going to be like, it's going to just be Ivan Dragos running around with Rod Brendamore, hitting speed bags around the indoor track, right? And all this stuff. So, yeah, let's just see the budget for syringes. That's all I want to see from the Carolina Hurricanes next year.
Nanobots. You got to do like full MRI scans. Like, you're going to see like little swarms of things like around players' hands. It's like the hands aren't actually operating themselves. It's the nanobots that are controlling them. Yeah.
Mike had the best reply to this. I pissed off some people who are like, Anderson is better than Skinner and has been for 6 years. I can look up the stats. Skinner's only been in the league for 2 years. Of course, Anderson would have been better than him the previous 4 years. I mean, I think we know that. Well, look, Stuart Skinner.
Dusty, you say anything on Stuart Skinner, there's going to be half of the people, like, because they have to blame something, and they have to blame somebody every single time. It's like they have to have something they get mad at, and it upsets them because mentally. Here's some science for you. And I'm not Eric Tulsky, but I know enough to know that mild frustration when people send in comments like that gives people a bigger dopamine hit than a variety of other things. So it's like they're addicted to hating Stuart Skinner and making those comments because it makes them feel good. Well,
what happened here is that I retweeted Jeff Patterson's tweet with like this background, and I said, cool, now find a playoff goalie. And then that's where other people were just like, well, Freddie Anderson. I think it's probably Carolina fans who are sort of fired up. But I mean, Stuart Skinner's at a place right now that Freddie Anderson's never been in. So we can just kind of end that conversation right there as well. Gage, I think the interesting thing, obviously this dude's a genius. We'll see he's been a part of building the Carolina Hurricanes right now. Do you think continuing to use the message from within is what the Carolina Hurricanes need from a general manager perspective? Like, they've been the same team for 4 years. We know they've been an awesome hockey team. We know that they can't get it done in the playoffs. So is the right messaging to be coming from the same guy who helped build what you're looking at right now?
That's tough because I do think they're really close. And watching that the Rangers-Carolina series, I felt that Carolina held the bulk of the play a lot of those times. It seemed like there was the only deficiencies were in goal. And when you have a netminder that says he needs a break at the most crucial point of the season, I understand it's difficult, but that's not what you want from one of the pillars of your team, which you need to get to where you want to be in the playoffs. So the same messaging, I think there's something there. I don't think a complete overhaul is necessary. Just a few tweaks.
Cass, any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, you need tweaks. They're close. I mean, you play in a good division against good teams. The East was tough. This year was tough. But they're right there. They have some great core pieces. Their defense is fantastic. Defensive core that's going to be around for a while. A little bit more scoring, I think, would be helpful. And then goaltending. So you kind of have a few tweaks. I agree. You're not going to blow this thing up, but they're close. A good team.
How old is Eric Tulsky? Do we know how old this guy is? Like, he's accomplished a lot here. Does he have a Wikipedia page? I'm not seeing a Wikipedia.
He's 25.
What have we been doing with our lives, eh? This is good. Eric Tulsky was born in 1974 or 1975, according to his Wikipedia page. His Wikipedia page is guessing that he's either 49 or 50 right now. So, I mean, that's a lot accomplished. Like, especially because he's been in the hockey for a while. I'd love to know what all of his passes are.
Because he's getting younger.
Yeah.
He's getting younger. The nanotechnology.
Yeah.
It's like he's already decreased a year in age, and so it's like they're at that in between stage where next year he's going to be a year younger next year. That's why it's the in between right now.
I like. I think it was Penner's Pancakes in the chat says, "I have my grade 11." Oh, that's too good, man. That's too good. I like that. That's really funny. All right. How about this one? So Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm searching for a head coach here, and two of the names that have popped up: Todd McClellan, Jay Woodcroft. My question for you two guys is: who do you think would be the better fit for Columbus Blue Jackets team that doesn't really seem like they know what's going on? What do you think? Which guy?
They're going to go Woodcroft.
You think so?
I don't. Oh yeah. Yeah, I would be.
There's other guys in the mix. It's not just those two guys, but I'm just thinking from an Edmonton perspective, guys that we would know, who would be the better fit there. You're saying Woodcroft?
Oh, probably Woodcroft. And you have to remember what you're coming away from as well for the last couple of years from a coaching standpoint. So yeah, I think Woodcroft. Yeah.
Gager, what do you think?
I think it's McClellan.
You think so? A veteran voice for a team that's trying to find its way?
Maybe a little bit of that, but I think maybe what hurts Woodcroft too is he probably has the Leon Draisaitl syndrome where he had Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl when he coached, right? Like how good was he? He had the two best players in hockey. That might hurt him a little bit.
Yeah. That's
I don't think it's warranted. I think he did a great job. Now looking back, it seems like he overcomplicated things to me and kept things simple. But you make a good point, Cass, because that was his first kind of kick at the can. And if you talk to any other NHL head coach after he's fired for the first time, they talk about how much they learned in that time and what they would. Okay, so you're probably getting a Woodcroft that's realized some mistakes that he made. But can also take a lot of the things that made him successful as well.
One more quick note. The NHL draft is just over a week away. No matter where, which is just, this is a quick tour. We'll get to that during Hire It or Fire It. But lots of Mitch Marner talk. Cass, do you think Mitch Marner is a Maple Leaf after the draft, or do you think this is one of those draft day deals that gets done? I'm going to say he's still a Leaf. I still think he'd be a Leaf.
I think so. I think so. I think he's still a Leaf. I think there's going to be a lot of chatter about it, but he's not. I don't think he's getting moved yet.
There's always like 5 or 6 guys that you're like, this guy could move at the draft. This guy could move at the draft.
Yeah.
And then on day 2, Jay Bouwmeester gets traded, and that's it. And then other things happen in the offseason or right before the year next year. Gager, do you think Marner makes it through the draft as a Leaf?
No, I read on another article they're running it back. They're trying it again.
Oh, they can bring the whole crew back.
Yeah,
makes sense.
No, I think he's a Leaf. I think he's a Leaf going into next year.
All right, let's get to the $100,000 hole-in-one contest right now, presented by Golf Town, where you got to move quick on this sale. It ends tomorrow, but they've got up to 40% off on top brand golf shoes right now at Golf Town. Nike, FootJoy, Adidas, Under Armour, and more. You can get in on that, and then they've got the buy one, get one free of Srixon inline golf balls, select styles, and a limit of 8 dozen per person. So don't go in and be greedy and take 16 dozen. 8 dozen should probably last you for. And that's coming from a bad golfer. I'm a bad golfer. I'm telling you, 8 dozen golf balls will last you for quite some time.
36 holes for Dusty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. You know what? When I used to go on my golf trip back in the day, the boys would be like, they grab my bag, be like, how heavy is it this year? I was like, I don't know. And then they'd open it up, and then one year they dumped out all the golf balls in my bag, and I had 64 of them for a 4-day trip. They're like, what the hell are you doing? I said, I lose a lot of balls. This year I only played 3 rounds, and I lost 5 balls in 3 rounds. So it was pretty good for me. I was just it was nice. Now, one of the courses was wide open. You'd have to be god off. You had to be Zacticum to lose a ball on that course. But the other 2 were okay. I played some decent golf there. Okay, it's the $100,000 hole-in-one. Final chance to qualify today, and the key word is day, as in Jason Day, as in today. D-A-Y. That's it. D-A-Y. Text day right now to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and one of Maddie or YouTube Trev will get back to you And you will be today's final qualifier and have a 25% shot to have your name drawn to get a swing at $100,000 tomorrow morning on the Nielsen Show. So make sure you stay by your phone in the morning if you're a qualifier. One more time, the keyword is day. All right, let's get into hire it or fire it. Back to the Oilers and Panthers pretty much for this one. Hire it or fire it is presented by GS Construction. They are hiring now. Become a part of their great team today. They're always looking for good people who want to learn and advance their career. So hop online, gsconstruction.ca, or over on their page on indeed.ca. For the past 50 years, the foundation of GS Construction has been built on efficiency, quality, and safety. Take your career to the next level. Join the GS Construction team today. If you are listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, feel free to play along with Hire It or Fire It by texting in your answers to these questions or your thoughts and comments on these questions to 780-218-9999. And of course, you can slide on in to the nasty chat as well. Let's start with this one. The Oilers should start the Henrique line tonight with Brown and Matthias Janmark. Cass, hire it or fire it?
Hire it. I got time for that.
Gager?
Hire it. Yeah, you have to.
I'm good with hiring anybody
awesome.
anybody not named Ryan McLeod to start the hockey game. That's it. These guys getting out there. And, man, Cass, Brown and Janmark, today we had a question on 3 Questions Too Many on our show. It was like, if you could only keep one next year. I'm like, what world are we living in now? But these guys have earned this respect and this conversation, haven't they?
Yep. They've earned it this playoffs. And I think the last game was a showcase of it. And by the way, I'd probably keep Brown. But
Gager, who would you keep?
Just as a side note.
I think I keep Janmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's proven
I think
a little more consistency over the course of this year. But
for me with Brown, I'm like, if he can figure out how to score again,
then you got something there, right?
Then you got something.
Yeah.
That's where it's just like the intangible, whatever, like the potential. Then I'm like, if he can kind of get halfway to where he was from a scoring standpoint, could be something.
I mean, if these guys played together for an entire season, whoever's.
Oh, you can't though. That's too to be at this intensity.
I know. But I'm just saying, I'm even taking that into account. I think you're looking at what would you put the over under their goal? 22.5, both of them
combined next year?
Combined, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a fair number because you would expect more from Brown if he can move next year like he's moving right now, Mm-hmm. But Matthias Janmark, I mean, he was steadily unproductive the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
But he does everything else. He does everything else relatively well. He just could not produce a lick, basically. Remember, he got hot for 4 days. You're like, Matthias Janmark season. And then it just went back to, he's a good penalty killer, and he's not going to hurt you too much. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what numbers these guys are at. I mean, probably not going to get a lot on an open market. You can keep yourself in a pretty good situation here in Edmonton. So, all right, let's go to this one. Stuart Skinner has been the Oilers' best player in the Stanley Cup Final. Hire it or fire it?
Yeah, I'm going to hire it. He's given them a chance, I think, in all these games.
Outside of the bobble behind the net, has there been another moment in the series where you're just like, oh, Skinner?
Nope.
I don't think so. Gager, which one?
Well, was it game 1? I forget the demon that shot it. It was the dipping puck.
Forsling, the knuckle puck. The knuckle puck from Forsling.
It was the knuckle puck. It was straight.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I get what you're saying.
It's so tough. But, from there, it's the same type of goal as Nurse scored, right? Comes down, Main Street.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's an awful, oh my God, Skinner goal against, though, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But that's the closest one I can.
Cass, where are you going? Hire it or fire it? I think there's only one other option here. It would be fire it and take McDavid, right?
Yeah. I gotta hire it. Really?
All right, there we go.
I gotta hire it. Yep, there we go.
I think it could be trending towards McDavid being the best player by the time it's all said and done, but we'll see where it's at so far. The NHL season should not go past June 5th. Hire it or fire it?
Hire it. This is crazy.
Like I just can't.
Too long.
I can't see how other markets are still intrigued by anything going on right now.
No.
Like there's 2 days between games.
I mean,
like it's amazing here, but you think other Canadian markets really give two whats about what's going on here right now? Probably not.
Maybe northeastern U.S. where Minnesota, where you got some diehards, and of course across Canada. But even then, I mean, how many people are sitting in their house if it's nice out and watching a hockey game? Unless your team's in it, you're not watching.
All right, so Gager hires it. Cass, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to hire it. I don't think it happens.
No, it won't.
No.
I don't think
It's
it has
not
to.
gonna
I don't think it
happen.
has to drag out to the Monday of draft week, though. For God's sakes,
Yeah,
Like,
it's really long.
it's crazy. All right, you can play along. Like I said, 780-218-9999. Jen says hire it. Tango says hire it. Duck Dad says hire it all day long. Scotty knows any hockey in June is questionable. Only if it's Stanley Cup Final Game 7 on like June 3rd. So yeah. Philip Broberg. Go ahead.
Duck Dad. Sorry, Duck Dad had a good recommendation. He knows a spot with dance competition that comes recommended from his friends. But he says he's never been though. I think this is the place that the Florida Panthers frequented after they were down 3-0 against the Tampa Bay Lightning for team bonding.
Team bonding night.
We all know how that turned out.
Philip Broberg plays top 4 minutes on the Oilers next season. Hire it or fire it.
I'm going to fire it at the beginning of the year. There's an asterisk. I think he moves up. But what he's done is amazing right now. But I don't think he cracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire it. I think he plays in the bottom pairing with an occasional look in the top 4. So I'm gonna fire it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Gage, you did kind of sit on the fence a bit on that one. Hey.
I know. I really sat on the fence.
All right, and how about this one? Hudson's should actually start paying Tommy Gazzola to sit people at tables next season. Hire it or fire it.
Oh, hire it. Mater D, Tommy. Yeah, I'd love to.
Like
see
when he's
that.
not on the air.
Yeah.
Like when he's not on the air and he's just sitting there, and they're coming in and being like, "Can I sit somewhere?" Now, of course, there is a huge sign right there that says "Seat yourself." But if they ask him, I think Tommy should be like, "Yeah, let me take you to your seat." I think that'd be great.
Yeah, he should.
Make a few extra
And Sean
bucks.
Bell needs to be the bouncer. Let's get Bellsy a security jacket,
yeah.
and he can.
Bellsy knows his role, man. When I was sitting there, we were sitting there for whatever it would have been game 1, I think, and Bellsy's sitting there checking IDs. Like this lady comes up, she gives him his ID. He looks at it, he kind of gives it back to her. Looked like a natural. Like he looked like a natural. Then he's like, and she stood, like she got it back. She was like, and she waited. He's like, you can sit wherever you want. Like it's fine. So it was, yeah, it's funny. I think they should start paying Tommy Gazzola next year to do that. That's hire it or fire it. Brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring right now. They're always hiring. Visit gsconstruction.ca. Those guys are busy. They need good workers, and it's a good career they can get over there. You can visit their page at indeed.ca or hop online at gsconstruction.ca as well. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Easy E says, guys, the kid is playing Stanley Cup Final. Right shot with Nurse. He's already playing in the top 4. Right? The case for Broberg, I guess, for next season.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not playing top 4, you're still running Cody Ceci up there? Because what are the other options? I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance he starts next year as a top 4 defenseman.
Well, there's a good chance. He's shown me in the past that he just when this is the first time, and I mean what a great time to do it when you have an opportunity and you've taken the bull by the horns here. But I look at last training camp, and it might be a maturation. I could be completely wrong here. I hope I am wrong for the Oilers' sakes. But yeah, I think he comes in as 5'6". And I know I'm on the fence here, but I think by the end of the year, you'd see him in one of those moving up the depth chart on D.
This text is in from the Gourd Father. It says, reasons I'm optimistic still. Power play is still really yet to show up. Hyman, Dry, Nuge really need to get going offensively. Oilers started to shoot and shoot high. Leon Draisaitl. Cass, what have you thought of Draisaitl so far in this Cup final?
It's been okay. He's had a couple good moments. I think he's banged up, guys.
I mean, if he wasn't, and we know we always say everybody's banged up this time of year. I get it, but if he's not dealing with something of significance, I feel like we would have seen him be close to taking over a game at some point. You know, he's got that ability. That hasn't been there yet. Maybe it's tonight, and we're like, he's healthy, and he's amazing. Like maybe that's what happens, but it seems like something seems off.
I still go back to what I think was back spasms that he had, because there was that little hit a little while ago, and left ice. He ends up coming back and playing, but I still think that looks like it's lower back something, and that if you don't have time off to rest, that lingers and it's part of your core. Like it's going to affect everything you do. And when Leon's at his best, he's so physical and engaged physically in the corners and on the wall, that's where he plays really well. And he creates offense from those spots. And I haven't seen that as much this series. So yeah, I think there's something there. I think he's banged up. Because I agree with you, Dusty. Like I think he would have taken over a game already at this point.
Hey, Gager, there hasn't been that moment where on post game or anybody would have been like, man, Draisaitl was awesome tonight. Like that just hasn't happened yet.
Well, you see when Draisaitl's feeling it and playing well, he initiates contact while he has the puck, right? He engages guys and gets them on his back and does that bull move back to the middle and finds open guys. But you don't see him bringing a guy to him and doing that whole puck protection and making a good pass. It's more, you just don't see it. So that goes to show me that, there is something wrong. And even I don't know if it was a slash earlier, but his shot too doesn't have the same zip. Like a couple of those one-timers, he's kind of flubbing them. The one time straight across, normally you'd see him get that, into the upper portion of the net, and it was a lot lower, and Bobrovsky could get over and make that save a little bit lower. I think there's a back and possibly a hand or, a finger issue with Leon.
Chief Andy says, guys, my ears are still having spasms from hearing Skinner making an argument for postseason MVP. Look, we said in this series, the question was this series. And that's why the boys backed him in this series. I think I would probably lean towards Connor McDavid, but I do think they're the two guys. I mean, who else is in that conversation for Oilers' best player so far in this series? I know based on expectations, you like Yammerk and Brown. I understand that. But at the top end of this thing, it's McDavid and it's Skinner. I mean, those are the two best players so far in the Stanley Cup Final, I think.
And that's
what
had to be.
And it hasn't been Ekholm and it hasn't been Bouchard. They have made too many mistakes in this series. They've been great throughout the playoffs. They've made too many mistakes in the series.
Jeremy S. says, Dry looks like he's skating okay. Could his busted finger just be stopping him from shooting? I think with a banged-up finger, you probably could still get a little bit more from Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, I think it's the back.
Yeah.
I think it's his back, and which is for shooting one-timers, that torque. That's what I think it is.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in as well. This is a nice way to kind of wrap up two guys today. And we do have that table to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, VIP table. All you have to do is text in right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Just text in a prediction for the game tonight. Score prediction for the game tonight. And one of you, you don't have to get it correct or whatever. Just text in a prediction for the game tonight at 780-218-9999. And one of you will go into the draw for that VIP table to the Sunday night show, Bert Kreitzer, Whitney Cummings of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. This text is in. It says, boys, I just got a vasectomy. Thanks for keeping my mind off of it. Look at that. See what we're providing, boys? Edmonton Sports Talk is providing an opportunity to think about something else for some guy who just got his nuts clipped. It's
I think about this all the time. Yeah.
Great move.
I think about that
Great
all the
move.
time.
Right before the That's you guys haven't got it done yet, eh?
No, but I
haven't got
I
it
had my
done.
guys' weekend at the cabin a couple weeks ago,
And they did it?
and I should have taken over. No, I should have taken over-unders on how soon, because we're all in that age range. So how soon the conversation turns to it, because it's like anytime we're all together, at some point, someone's bringing up vasectomies. And it was like 15 minutes. We were there for 15 minutes, and the conversation about vasectomies came up. So, yeah, there's a couple of us that are on that list. So I'm waiting here, fellas.
Boys, like
I'm a little nervous.
You,
I got some time left still.
you gotta make that decision.
I'm too scared, man. I'm too scared.
You know what's
I'm
scary?
terrified.
You know what's real scary? Being my age and having a newborn. That would be
Yeah,
scary.
That would be
All right.
scary.
Yeah.
Like we've known for
that
7
is
years
scary.
we're not having another kid. So it's just like, playing with fire a little bit, I guess. But
Oh yeah.
I just
Fire.
I can't. I don't know. I guess I'm just a wimp. I've heard some bad stories about like balls like swelling up like crazy, and I just
They get a little bit bigger. They get a little bit
now I
bigger.
know they can do it with the laser. Like they don't even have to do much anymore, right? But it still freaks me out. I had a buddy who got put out, and I don't mind that idea. But I'm also scared of being put out. So I don't know what to do there. He was great. I said, how the vasectomy? He goes, it was awesome. He goes, I sat down. The guy's like, do you want to be put out? He's like, yes. He goes, I woke up. It was done. It was amazing. I was like, damn, that is pretty good actually. So yeah. Anyway, congratulations to this guy. Good job, man. And now you never have another kid. Hopefully you've got a couple already, and you're just not like, I don't care. I don't have one. I don't want one.
As a reminder, the tubes aren't empty yet. Like, don't.
You got to wait a little bit.
I had a buddy. So the stories, I had stories like it was a post one, didn't wait long enough, and sure enough, him and his wife had a whoopsie post vasectomy. So,
Buddy, I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me. That's exactly how that happened. So yeah. So
It's great. Then you can just have porn on the whole time. Just have it on for 2 weeks. Take care of yourself. Empty the tank. You're good.
All right. Hey, is there going to be a game 6 in this series? Gager, what do you think? You've had a good read on this team all season. Is there a game 6 in this series?
I hate to say it, Dusty, but I can't. I don't see
No.
it. I think
That's
the
fair.
Panthers take
Yeah,
care of it.
they're a good team, man. Like, yeah.
they're a really good team. But my heart says that the Panthers are gonna hoist it tonight. Sorry, everybody.
Matt, what do you think?
I got hope, Dusty. I got hope until there's no hope. So
It's a good way to.
think
It's a
they
good.
stay
It's a good
alive.
way to look at it. You got hope until there's no more
Yeah.
hope. Man, I want them to win because Marshall will just be through the roof. I mean, it'll be the greatest day of his life. I wasn't there to celebrate the 8-1 win with him because I was working in Vancouver, but I'd like to be there to see him losing his mind tonight. So I want them to win. Man, I don't know. Like, their back's against the wall. Like, when they're right against the wall, they're a pretty damn good hockey team. So I don't have a great feeling about tonight. So I'll take a little bit of a homer take, and I'll say they win like a 4-2 hockey game tonight.
Oh, that's me too.
Yeah.
A huge homer take.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still hoping.
Yeah.
The odds are still hugely against them.
Well, actually, according to Coolbet, they're not that much against them. They're in the series, they're 7-1, but plus 113 to win the game tonight. So that's a positive as well. And I did send an exclusive over to the boys, so hopefully we'll get that up at some point. Wait a second here. Let me see. It might already be up. Nope, it's not up yet. But I've sent an exclusive over, which would be Oilers to win, Hyman with a goal, and Bouchard with a point in the hockey game tonight. And hopefully the guys can get that up. You'll be able to find that over at coolbet.com. All right, the GCL Diesel pregame show gets started at 4:30 tonight. Go see Tommy. He is at West Edmonton Mall. Hudson's on Bourbon Street. Cass will be joining him for the pre and the post tonight as well. Zach will be holding things down back here as well. But if you want to have a good time tonight, head on out to Bourbon Street, Hudson's, West Edmonton Mall. You guys enjoy the game tonight. I'll be back breaking it down tomorrow. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or over at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Nielsen Show replay coming up, and then that'll kind of lead you in to the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game coverage. Enjoy the game, boys.
Later.